And you're back with us on the Big Fight Live, coming tonight from Newport in South Wales. Now it is time for the Commonwealth light middleweight title fight. The local challenger, Bradley Pryce, had a real tough one on his hands. Bradley Pryce then stepping up in weight. We saw him in a real thriller at welter against Michael Jennings in Preston. He expects savage attacks on the champion Duran, but says he's determined to stay on the outside and show off his genuine boxing skills. Ossie Duran, 28-year-old Ghanaian, he is the champion, a fully paid-up member of the Who Needs Him club. His 12th appearance in the UK. He's never lost to a British fighter. He's never been stopped in 10 years as a pro. The ideal puncher-boxer confrontation. Shades of Lacey against Calzaghe. We're going to join the action right at the start of the second round.
Second round. Duke McKenzie scoring that one level. I think Duran, possibly by virtue of those solid right hands, might have done enough to catch the judge's eyes.
But Pryce was, being nice and busy, nice and consistent. Although he took the big shots, I just feel, he got a share of the round.
Pryce concedes that this is an absolutely massive fight for him. Terrific opportunity. If he were to win this one at light middleweight, well, he'd be announcing himself that he's still got a lot left in the tank. This could be a really grueling fight the further it unfolds. Ian John Lewis, the referee.
Well, he had a mini classic with Michael Jennings for the championship there for the British welterweight title, and he gave quite a good account of himself, but was found, I think, wanting in the middle rounds where his work rate dropped off.
Ossie Duran can punch. He won this title by blowing out Jamie Moore back in June 2004. Did Moore, who's a solid fighter from Salford, did him in 3 rounds. And there he's going, trying to land that chopping right hand again, and again it lands, finds the target. Pryce is having some success at range, but I just get the feeling that the man with power in there in those exchanges is Duran, and you see Pryce once again, he's caught and stumbles back.
Yeah, Pryce has got to pace himself just a little bit better, because, he's been made to work quite a hard pace quite early in the fight, and this is only the second round. The champion's very, very cool. Like I said before,
there's a real unflappable sort of composure about Ossie Duran. He's got one of those faces which shows absolutely no emotion, however the fight's going, but he looks as though he's absolutely in control of his own strategy all the time in any contest. Good little work in that flurry though from Pryce. Pryce is throwing plenty of shots. Joe Calzaghe used him in the run-up to that epic fight against Jeff Lacey for speed work.
Well, Pryce is forcing the fight really, really well.
Good body shot in there from Pryce. Left hook into the body of Ossie Duran.
But you just don't get any sort of a grimace from Duran. He's poker-faced all the time. Nice counter right hand there from Duran.
It just might be that having worked so hard in the gym, that Bradley Pryce is as fit as at any stage in his professional boxing career here tonight. But I think he may well have to be. Closing stages of the second round. Good shot from Pryce, but back comes Duran.
Seconds out, round 3.
Third round scheduled for 12, of course, the championship distance. Bradley Pryce, the Welshman, in the white shorts with his back to now, lighter coloured skin of the two. Ossie Duran, the tough man from Accra in Ghana, defending his title, remember, here. How have you scored it so far, Duke?
Well, I gave Duran the last round. I gave the first round even, and that last round to Duran.
Enzo Calzaghe saying, come on, bring the right hand into play. Bradley Pryce, a little bit worryingly, I think, from a Welsh perspective, is being beaten to the jab here. Duran is working more effectively behind the left-hand lead than is Pryce, and Pryce, remember, has the reach advantage.
He certainly does. He's trying to put his combinations together. He's trying to really force the fight, but again, he's just sort of smothering his work. His footwork just isn't quite right at this present moment in time. He needs to show more lateral movement with the feet, needs to step off a little bit, just create one or two angles.
And Bradley Pryce so far not having the success that he might have hoped for to enthuse the Welsh fans. Good right hand again in close from Duran, and he's walked into too many of those, has Bradley Pryce, and he's cut. He's cut around the left eye, and I'm pretty sure that it'll have been those right hooks from Duran that have caused that. Not looking too clever, that. I think it's a nick towards the corner of the eye, but right on the button again from Ossie Duran. And here in the third round, these are anxious times already for Bradley Pryce.
Now the champion's going to see the club, and it'll be like a ball to a red rag. He's just going to be going to plant the right hand to inflict more damage on that cut.
Duran at this stage is beginning to give Pryce a working over. Pryce has got to get back to his boxing. He's got to rely on the corner to do their work on that cut, and he's got to try and keep this fight at range. So much of Pryce's instinct is to get into a tear-up, and in this third round, that is what he's tending to do, and he's coming off worse in those close quarter exchanges.
And the champion's got a tighter defence also, so he's weathering the storm and coming back with sneak right hands, little nice counter punches, using the jab as just a teeing off punch, really, just lining up Pryce where he can come back with the right hand.
Don't think that left eye's too bad. We'll try and get a closer look at that one between rounds, but Duran is teeing him off and trying to land with hurtful punches, particularly the right hand. That's been the damaging shot, that right hook and right hand over the top. Good work from Pryce, though. He's bravely trying to come back and fight his way back into this round. Good uppercut inside.
Finish here.
Take a place now, right?
Ossie Duran is starting to take control of this fight, and Enzo Calzaghe was trying to get his man to settle down between rounds there. He was saying, how's your fitness? In other words, trying to say, well, you know, you can stay the 12-round distance here, so don't panic. Keep on sticking to your boxing.
Well, I'm sure they feel that if they can push the champion and make him fight at a much higher work rate, then that will take him out of his rhythm. But Duran's got this almost watertight defence. He's very, very calm. Just tucks up when Pryce starts his charge, tucks up, takes the punches, weathers the storm and comes straight back at him with the right hand.
Duran must be ahead on the judges' cards, I would have thought, but this is better from Pryce. He seems to have composed himself after the shock of being cut in the last round, and they've done a decent job in that corner. I don't think the cut was particularly bad, more of a graze, a nick than anything else, and they've staunched the flow, but he doesn't want to keep walking onto those right hands from Duran. Duran, who is so durable, good body shot as well. He's a good in fighter, is Duran.
Well, the fact that Pryce is cut, I'd like to see a little bit more head movement. You know, the head's just too much of a stationary target. And with a punch picker like Duran, he's going to find that target, so he needs to start rolling that head in and rolling it out, and then just, you know, continue the work rate, keep the punches flowing.
Duran was a welterweight champion. Maybe a little bit about how Pryce is stepping up in weight, but really Duran, I think, naturally maybe a welterweight rather than a light middle. And Pryce has come back quite well here in this fourth round. That's a good body shot. Referee suggesting it was a little bit low. I think it was borderline, and Duran replies with a couple of borderline shots of his own. But Pryce has bravely come back here, and this is his best round of the fight so far for me.
Yeah, it's a great round for Pryce, this one. Just landed with a cracking right hand. I tell you, he's looking to force the pace and really take Duran out of his stride. Gumshoe's come out from Duran. Referee hasn't seen it as yet. This is where Pryce needs to capitalise and land some good shots.
And he's going looking for Duran. And listen to the crowd respond. They're roaring the Welshman forward. Pryce is having a big round here. Duran certainly won the second, and for me won the third as well, but Pryce has boxed his way back into this. Good quality, snapping punches, and he's growing with confidence.
Time, okay?
Round 7.
Into the second half of the fight, and the Calzaghe corner, Enzo Calzaghe and his assistants have done a good job on the damaged left eye, which was cut early on in the fight. Done a good job on that, caught by the early right hands from Ossie Duran, and it's a key sort of stage of the fight. Who's going to boss it from here on? And they were saying to Pryce, you've got to throw that right hand. Look as though you're throwing it. Look as though you're landing it, even if you're not. It's not enough just to throw the jab.
Well, that's good advice, and Pryce has come out in this round just a little bit more purposeful. He's regrouped and got his style back. He's got both his hands up and his chin down, and he's looking to push the fight now, force the fight, which is exactly the right tactic. Has to get back to punching in combinations, and then, as the corner have suggested, you know, step up, give the champion some different angles. That's better.
But there are a couple of solid body shots as well from Duran. One of them looked as though it made Pryce wince just a little bit as he came forward, trying to throw those flurries of punches. Get the feeling that although Pryce is throwing more shots, the heavier-handed fighter is the Ghanaian Duran. And is that going to be a factor the further the fight goes? Will the body shots sap the resolve of Bradley Pryce?
Well, you know, the champion was really breathing really heavily between rounds, which will tell you just how uncomfortable he is with the pace when it really hots up. You know, he's relying on his one-punch knockout power, if you like, but so far, okay, he's troubled Pryce, but not to a point where he's had him hurt.
They're saying to Pryce, keep your lateral movement good, keep getting in and out, throw those flurries of punches, but keep moving. And he's done that well. He's carrying out, he's actually boxing, I think, pretty much to the maximum of his capabilities here is Bradley Pryce. Good body shot, 2 of them. And Duran winced with the power of those.
And watch him suck up that air, John, as the shots went in. They really knocked the wind out of his sails. Well-planted shots there by Pryce. Now he needs to capitalise on this. I mean, as hard as it is to take the body shots, it also takes a lot out of you delivering the shot. So Pryce now has to change his assault and go back to the head.
So can he now keep it going? And you see there, again, Duran felt the power of that shot to the body. And who's going to be the stronger down the stretch in the closing 30 seconds of this 7th round? The fight is really finely balanced. It's at a key stage, and Pryce is bossing it for me this 7th round with those body shots. He's really making a concerted attempt to work away to the body. Another good right hook from Pryce, and this is his best work of the fight so far. And Pryce is finishing this one absolutely the boss of this 7th round, and Duran is now starting to be very much a reduced fighter. What a good fight this has turned out to be, and how well Bradley Pryce has come back after a fairly rocky opening. He fought the first 2 or 3 rounds as though he didn't really quite believe that he could carry out the strategy. But now he's out working Duran. He worked him away to the body in the last round, and he's come right back into it. Remember that eye was cut early in the fight, the left eye of Bradley Pryce. They've done a good job on that, and now I really do think that he is starting to take command of this. Subjective thing, as Duke McKenzie was saying, it's all down to how you actually see it as a judge. But I think that Pryce is just the aggressor, and he has got his tactics absolutely right.
Well, John, you're absolutely right in what you've just said. At the beginning of this fight, he didn't actually believe he could win this, but now he's fighting with a renewed confidence, obviously inspired by Calzaghe, as the whole nation is, I guess, in the boxing world, have been inspired. Bradley Pryce has never fought a better fight to date. He's really boxing out of his skin.
Very fit man, Bradley Pryce, for this fight. Been in the gym, as I was saying earlier, since the turn of the year. working away with Joe Calzaghe, and that fitness is showing against a tough man. That's a low shot on the blind side of the referee, but Pryce gets away with it. And Duran again winced at the power of that left hook.
And it was a fantastic right hand that Pryce landed immediately after that. It really was. Just stepped to his right, through the right hand, and now he's getting through. This is good boxing from Pryce, showing little feints in there now. Just a little dummy with the feet, through the jab, tried the right hand, didn't land. But it's nice to see he's nice and alert mentally.
Duran is just a bit too one-paced. If you were in that Ghanaian corner, you would want to see greater work rate from Duran. You'd want to see him landing with more of those right hands, but that's good work from Pryce, good hand speed. And you saw Duran just wanting to cover up and withstand the attack, and Pryce is bossing this fight now.
Well, there's a real spring in Pryce's step. You know, he's saying to himself, you know, in round 8, I've got 4 to go. You know, can I win this? Or you know, can I at least get to the finish line? And if I can get to the finish line, my arms will be raised at the end of the fight, because I've worked my absolute backside off to get there.
Bradley Pryce had fought like this against Michael Jennings when they fought for the British welterweight title last year. Who knows what might have happened? For me, this is the best performance that I've seen from Bradley Pryce for a long time. Sometimes he's got into rings looking less than fully prepared. Sometimes he's looked as though he's not quite had belief in what he's done in there. But here tonight, unless Duran can produce something big to turn it around, for me, Pryce is heading towards a momentous victory. He's really fighting well. Well, I reckon that Bradley Pryce is winning this fight now. Let's get a word from Barry McGuigan and see what he thinks.
Well, John, I agree with you. I think he's just slightly creeping ahead. I give him 2 rounds. He's 2 rounds up. Duran is looking tired. He's looking fatigued. I wonder, has he underestimated Bradley Pryce? Because I spoke to Enzo beforehand, and Enzo said, I'm going to make him box this fight. I'm going to drill it into his head. He's got to stay on the outside. He's got to box this guy, mix it up, as Duke was saying earlier. Box him when he wants to fight him when he wants to box. Keep it busy. I think the busier he keeps it, and in and out, getting his work done, get back out again, use the jab for straight Duran, because Duran is looking decidedly tired. If he keeps it together, he can win this one.
Seconds out, round 9.
Bradley Pryce's face is marked up. His left eye was cut early on. His nose now is also bruised and scarred. When I was saying that, so far as I was concerned, Bradley Pryce was now winning this fight. The Ghanaian judge sitting just in front of me turned round, and I just wonder whether he's seeing it the same way. But for me, Pryce is just starting to edge this one. Although, remember that Duran, of course, is the champion, and they always say, it's an old boxing adage, to take a title, you've got to win it big.
Well, that's what I see Pryce doing, though. He's winning it big. The last 2 rounds have been absolutely brilliant for him. I've given him them, which puts him in just a slight lead. And he started this round with a real fire in his belly. You know, he's absolutely boxing beautifully, flicking the jab. Started this round with a hurtful jab, but he switched tactics now, flicking the jab to land the right hand.
The variety of tactics produced by Pryce in this fight will have been a surprise to some people in some quarters, I think, who maybe have seen him too many times in his career get drawn into toe-to-toe brawls, whereas if he would just rely on his boxing skills, which are considerable, that he might have had more success. Well, here tonight, he is perhaps 3 rounds and a bit away from producing one of the best performances of his career. But Duran, let me remind you, has never lost on his 11 previous visits to this country. He is a proud champion, a brave man. He can hit with that right hand, and he can't be underestimated. Even at this stage, Pryce has got to keep his concentration, got to keep on working.
Yeah, but look at Pryce, just do a little sidestep dummy there, and he nearly paid off. Just stepped to his right, tried to kid to the champion, and he's forcing the fight really well behind a well-educated, well-placed jab. Nice little clusters on the inside. Look at this, 2, 3, 4 punches, and then he tucks up tight. He's not leaving his chin out to dry. He's boxing very, very intelligently.
There was originally some talk of Bradley Pryce fighting David Barnes. That would have been a light welterweight contest. That is at 10 stone. Here he is fighting at light middleweight. This is the 11 stone division, and he's showing that he's got plenty of fire, plenty of power, and he really is fancying this one. And Duran, who's naturally a come-forward, plodding sort of fighter, is more often than not now being put into reverse gear by the power of Pryce. But there's Duran with the right hand, and that's the danger shot. But Pryce comes back with a flurry of eye-catching punches.
Well, you know, for Pryce to make light welterweight, as you're talking about, John, which is a stone lighter from wherever he is now, you have to chop both his legs off. But I'm telling you, he looks so strong, so purposeful, and he couldn't work at a pace like this if he was a stone lighter. That would be incredible.
Another good round for Bradley Pryce. Closing seconds, and for me, I think he's taken another one. Pryce starting well. Good body shots. And there's a desperate sort of look towards the Ghanaian corner.
Oh, fantastic right hand by Pryce. He's been trying that one all night long. The little sidestep to the right, which I mentioned earlier, and the right hand comes crashing down on Duran's chin.
Growing in confidence all the time as Bradley Pryce. He had a bad second, a bad third, but since then, there have been moments when Duran has threatened, but unless the judges are seeing a very, very different fight to the one we reckon we're watching, Pryce has slowly assumed more and more control.
Well, it is a surprise to me that Bradley Pryce has been able to maintain such a high work rate. You know, we've seen him before, John, obviously going back to the Jennings fight, but it would appear that that fight has shaped his character as a boxer, and he's really learned from that. And now he's set a high work rate himself, and he's able to maintain it through dedication. Oh, class. This is really good boxing from Pryce. Switching the attack from head to body at such a late stage in the fight.
Oh, he's fancying this. The spring is still in the step of Bradley Pryce, and the Welsh fans, I'm sure now, are sensing that this Commonwealth title could be coming back to the Principality. Bradley Pryce looking to become the first Welshman to ever win this Commonwealth light middleweight title. First Welshman to win a Commonwealth title since Nicky Piper back in 1997, and he is boxing his way through towards it. Corner are just imploring him, keep your gloves up, don't get caught by one of those big haymakers from Duran. He's throwing those now out of desperation as much as anything else, is the Ghanaian. But Pryce continues to outwork him.
And also, you know, congratulations to the corner from keeping that flow of blood from Pryce's eye. We've seen nothing from it from about the third round, so they've kept that well under control. But it's Pryce here outworking the champion again. Look at his step, he's got a real bounce, a nice spring in his step. The hands are still working. Okay, the champion is forcing the fight and knows he has to find something desperately to turn this one in his favour, but Pryce is matching him punch for punch.
Duran is bravely coming forward and lands a solid right hand as the last few seconds of this 10th round tick away. Has it been enough for Ossie Duran to take it? I suspect not. Well, Bradley Pryce, for us, is winning this fight. But that's just a commentator's viewpoint. Let's hear what Enzo Calzaghe's making of it.
It's a lot harder life than this shit, right?
I was like the one I just stick to the jab.
Stick to the jab, go back to the jab, and I'll call when you want it, right? Just jab, the first half of this round, I want it ahead, and then we step it up, right?
You've got to get him moving to his right, okay? Yeah. You've got to move to your right, okay? You got me, you got to jab and move to your right. Now listen, you've got to hold yourself together. Don't start falling in. It's getting late in the fight and you've got to look tidy, okay? Now come on.
Okay, come on, son.
I want that round.
Dean Powell is the second voice in that corner.
Come on, baby.
All right,
that's
Are you got it?
Just 6 minutes of an absorbing contest remaining. Bradley Pryce, the Welshman, the taller man with his back to you, trying to box his way towards this Commonwealth light middleweight title. Duran, who looked as though he was going to just have too much power early in the fight, he's still in there. But Pryce has fought a terrific fight. Arguably, I think, the performance of his career.
Yeah, I'll have to second that, John. If I was in Pryce's corner instructing him, I would tell him to forget the last round, win this round and win it big. You know, because you can always suck it up for the last round.
They told him just to jab for the early part of the round, just to try and work behind the left hand, and then to open up the further it goes. Duran, they reckon, has not got a lot left. Duran has other ideas as he tries to land that bingo punch, that overhand right. Good jab from Pryce. Really speared him.
That's the only thing that Pryce is going to be careful of, is that the champion now obviously realises he must be behind, and we've got to expect a really big sort of push for the final round from the champion in Duran.
Well, let's now see if Pryce can indeed open up for the second half of this 11th round, as Duran tries to spear him with the left-hand lead. There's a little nick around the left eye, above the eye of Pryce. He always marks up in fights, and the corner, as Duke's saying, have done a good job. And now he tries, I'm sure, to produce the grandstand finish to catch the judge's eye. A little chopping right hand. Duran's had a better round in this 11th. Fought quite well so far, but Pryce working his way in behind the left-hand lead. And now who's going to be able to produce the grandstand last minute?
Well, it's a good round by both boxers. The champions had a better round this round because Pryce obviously started slow and is trying to finish strong.
Here comes Pryce, trying to now mount a sustained attack in the closing stages of this round. I think Duran's had his best round for some time here in this 11th, unless Pryce can do something good in the last 30 seconds or so.
Well, it's hard to start slow and finish strong. So, you know, he should have started faster and or maybe just died off towards the end of the fight when the round was in the bag. However, he's had a good round, but he's just allowed the champion just to get back this round. But I've still got Pryce in a comfortable lead.
Well, I reckon Duran's done enough to win this round so far, unless Pryce can find something spectacular now in these last few seconds. Duran has lifted his work rate. Ossie Duran goes back to his corner, waving to the crowd. He knows that he did enough to win that round. That's narrowed the gap, assuming the judges see it that way. Duran coming back. And there they must be saying to him that he has got to win this last round and win it big. And there in the other corner, Pryce, perhaps if he can win this last round, has got it. Maybe. We've only got it by 2 rounds though, and it could still be in the balance.
Bradley, you've got to step to your right. He can't go that way. Jab, step to your
interest at ringside. I can see Enzo Macronelli on the far side. There he is. Produced that terrific performance, beating Mark Hobson, defending his WBU cruiserweight title last week in Manchester. And now here we go into the 12th round. Who wants it the more? Who's going to be the stronger? Nice show of sportsmanship between the two. And who's going to suck it up and dig deep and produce the last round, which could be crucial?
Well, I think at this point in time, I think it's Pryce who wants it the most. He really does.
Duran, who comes from Accra, from Buchan, the poor part of the city, which was the home of fighters like Ike Quarty, like Azuma Nelson. He's following in that production line. Strong man, brave man and a proud man. He's been an avoided champion as Ossie Duran, but has Bradley Pryce done enough?
Well, it's a nice start from Duran. You know, he's been very, very sensible. He's just keeping a nice tight guard, but you know, Pryce is keep forcing this fight. He keeps forcing the pace of the fight. He's throwing nice, snappy combinations, trying to get the champion on his back foot. Keep trying to outwork him.
Good right hand, though, inside from Duran, who needs this round big, I'm sure. He must know that. He must have been told that by his corner, if he's going to keep his title. Pryce has not done a great deal in this 12th round so far, and Duran is trying to load up with big right hands. Pryce just has to maintain concentration, has to keep his mobility, and has to keep throwing shots. And here comes Duran again, forcing Pryce backwards. The Welsh crowd is trying to inspire Bradley Pryce, but the champion is still in there and still dangerous.
Pryce has got to keep a tight defence, because this is probably where the champion will be at his most dangerous and his most venomous with that right hand.
He took another one as he tried to get in close, did Pryce. And Duran is coming forward. You can see him trying to tee off, trying to get him in the sights for that big right hand. There it is, over the top. The trigger was cocked, it was pulled, and it just by a fraction missed the jaw of Bradley Pryce. This is an absolutely key last minute. Pryce has got to keep his defence good. He's got to try somehow to keep Duran on the back foot and try and keep away from that right hand.
Yeah, champion's boxing really well in this round, but you know, Pryce is going to keep pushing him to the wire.
He's got to do that. Duran, I think, won the 11th round, and for me, Duran is also winning the 12th. Unless Pryce now can come on strong in the last 30 seconds. The Welsh crowd trying to inspire Bradley Pryce, who would desperately like to take another title back to that Newbridge gym, the home of Joe Calzaghe. He wants this Commonwealth light middleweight title. Ossie Duran doesn't want to surrender it. And look at this, they're going to it toe-to-toe, right down to the wire. It's been an absorbing fight. Who's got it? They both celebrate. Who's done enough? It's going down to the judges' cards. Duran is being chaired around the ring. The Welsh fans don't like that. Now Pryce is hoisted aloft by Enzo Calzaghe, who might be a diminutive sort of figure, but he's a strong lad, is Enzo, and he thinks that Bradley Pryce is another champion. I wonder, it could be close, it may be, you never know, it may be that we're going to see a split decision, who knows? It's been fought with terrific sportsmanship. These two fighters have looked good, and now let's see if we can get the verdicts. Tallies just being checked at ringside by officials. This is going to be a close one, I think. Duran finished well. He's taken the, I thought he took the last 2 rounds, Ossie Duran. Duke differs, he's given, no, Duke agrees. Both got the last 2 rounds to the champion, and that's narrowed the gap. Not too much between them. It's been an absorbing fight. Not a classic, but a really absorbing fight. Duran starting well, establishing early control. Pryce grew in confidence, came right back into it, and then it was Duran who finished the stronger. Pays you money, takes your choice. Who's it going to be? They're both celebrating, and the crowd are recognising, I think, that that was a fine contest, and that is a really good sporting applause for both fighters. And now we are in a position where we can get the verdict. Let's now see who's got it. Is Pryce going to become a Welsh Commonwealth champion?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Eddie Papour scores the contest 118 to 112. Judge Dave Paris scores the contest 116 to 113. And Judge Mickey Van scores the contest 115 to 114. All 3 judges in favour of the winner. And new
Pryce has got it.
Champion of the Commonwealth from Newbridge in Wales, Bradley Sugar Sweet Pryce.
A Welsh celebration, and what a week it has been for this gym.
Ex-champion Ossie Ossie Duran.
Good effort from Ossie Duran. Big gap from the Ghanaian judge who gave it to Pryce by 6 rounds. I think that was generous, but Bradley Pryce has produced the best performance of his life, and he is the Commonwealth light middleweight champion.
Bradley Pryce, Commonwealth light middleweight champion. How does that sound?
Oh, it feels great. It feels great. And I got to thank Enzo and thank Juan for sticking with me. I've had a few defeats, but Enzo kept faith in me. He knows how good I am. And as you can see, I'm getting better. Still a lot more to come for me, but I'd like to thank the team behind me, and I'm on my way at last.
You got cut in the third there. They did a very good job with that. What was the key to coming back?
Well, we've been working on my boxing, work the jab. I've done it most of the time for the fight. Obviously, I didn't keep up with it all the way through. But like I said, I'm working on my boxing ability. But I proved I can get inside and work, so I couldn't keep up with the pace. I don't think I set a nice pace.
He did set a wonderful pace. And so, how fit was he? Because he's been sparring with Joe, and that must have helped. I mean, was he in the condition of his life?
Well, Bradley's never been out of condition. If you see most of his fights, he's always boxing from his heart because he knows within himself he's got a lot of stamina. But today he boxed with the brains. And I think today he capitalised. I said before he started, don't box with your heart. Let the heart play itself, but box with your brains. And today you've seen the masterclass of a guy who can box rather than punch.
He was a very good champion, Ossie Duran. What does this mean to you, this victory? What does it tell us about Bradley Pryce?
Tell the truth, I'm quite speechless. I mean, I've had a couple of defeats, and I needed this really bad to just get my confidence back, really. And I got an option now. In my next fight, I can defend the title. I got at least one option. So is it going to be exciting for me now?
How much talent's this fella got?
Obviously, look, listen, this kid won 4 ABAs. Let's put it in perspective. He ain't no damn bummy. He won 4 ABAs. So as a kid, he's gone all the way with the amateurs. But what it is, I think he lost his way a bit because 1 or 2 stoppages, I think, got to his head. He thought he was a banger rather than a boxer. Today, he showed the other side of him. He showed the boxing rather than bang, and it paid off rewards. Fantastic.
The first Commonwealth champion that Wales has had since Nicky Piper, who was ringside. That means a lot, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. It's a great achievement. Really proud out with the 4 months. And back to the gym now, and we'll see what happens. My preparation was a bit different in the change rooms, you know what I mean? Usually I'm really nervous before a fight. I was so laid back in that change room, good warm-up. Everything was just spot on tonight.
Bradley Pryce, well done.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.